Back in Lagos, it's time for what is trending from all around the world. And the only lady that I will listen to on topics like this is Olamide Odekole, and she's standing by looking ever beautiful. Good morning, Olamide.
Good morning, team. How are we doing today?
We're good. Ready for you.
Ria, I must say you flatter me. You make me feel like I really do have the authority on trending stories.
Of course, it's only you. Is that someone again?
Shall we see what everyone's talking about this morning?
All right, take it away.
Let's go. Good morning, Nigeria. I always say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eye on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segments, we do our best to bring you all the trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with some sad news. We're barely days after the death of Ruth Otabo, renewed calls for stricter truck safety regulations. Another tragedy has struck. Another heavy-duty truck, as at yesterday, was involved in a fatal crash at Four Corner, Enugu State. And reports indicate that the vehicle rammed into a bus, reportedly carrying health workers en route to UNTH Ituko Ozala, and killing an entire family also in the process. This fresh incident has intensified public discourse and outrage online, and people are questioning why lives are being lost so frequently at the hands of heavy-duty trucks. I think it's clear that it's time for commercial giants to overhaul their safety policies before more families are thrown into mourning. This is very sad. The conversations we're having around this are far too frequent for my liking. Let's take a look at social media. Joseph says, trucks should have specific times to drive within city limits. Drivers need to be equipped with breathalyzers, and the truck should have GPS tracking to ensure drivers are getting enough sleep. Technology can help enforce laws like these, and it will be very cost-effective. Stephen says, heavy-duty motor vehicle operation in the country must be tightly regulated. Drivers tested for competence and drug use. In America, it's tightly regulated with drivers on mandatory 8 hours rest after 10 hours of driving. I agree with you that Nigeria must urgently implement strict regulations by Nigeria Road Safety on heavy-duty trucks. Let's move on. Unfortunately, I still have some more sad news. Tragedy struck in Abuja yesterday when a man, his wife, and their 2 children lost their lives in a fatal crash at Mabushi Bridge. According to witnesses, the family was traveling in a private car when the man briefly stopped at the Abuja Burger roundabout in Wuse to pick up a relative. That simple move by this man reportedly angered roadside touts who accused him of breaking their rules. And this confrontation quickly spiraled out of control when one of these hoodlums allegedly forced his way into the moving car and grabbed the man's steering wheel. In the struggle that followed, the driver lost control of the car, of course, and his vehicle rammed into a bridge, killing the man, his wife, and their children instantly. Of course, enraged by the incident, the residents chased down some of the suspected touts, and reports are differing, but from what we know, at least one of these men accused of dragging this man's steering wheel was lynched and set ablaze by the mob. Now, the video you're watching is what happened on the scene. These men in 2025 being lynched and burned by mob justice. Let's take a look at what people are making of this on social media. Stephen Osemwege says, the Nigeria police and the judiciary failed to assure people of swift justice because of their corrupt practices, hence the resulting to self-help and jungle justice. Let's hope that we can become civilized in another century or 2. Barbarism and public lynching is a sign of a failed state. I'll take 2 more submissions. Dr. Gaza Kure says, the harm caused by these Agbero on the streets of Abuja is too much and should not be tolerated again. They are supported by the Nigerian police force sometimes, which is unconstitutional. And I have lost 2 friends in a similar manner. The fact that some people think their activity should be allowed is wrong. They should exit the FCT and return to their states. Finally, Sunbelievable says, we have completely lost our humanity. Taking lives is not a big deal anymore. Team, unfortunately, I'm not bringing you happy stories today, but in terms of this last story that we just took, we know that Agberos or hoodlums, whatever you want to call them, whether we like it or not, they are operating under the hidden economy. They are making a lot of money and they're operating, and sometimes they are backed by forces that are higher up. How do we ensure that, you know, their economies are not disrupted or regulated, and that these sorts of things stop happening, these clashes with civilians?
You see, it is recurring story of one tragedy caused by these touts or another tragedy. At times, you don't even need to break any law for you to get into their sites, and they never come out with something good, you know. So the jungle justice that happened must have been because the people around saw the thing from the beginning, and they saw the crash, and they confirmed that a whole family has been wiped out because of a tout. So what is the solution? You know, why are these touts so powerful? Because they have backings that you and I may not have, you know, and that gives them unnecessary confidence, and they believe they can do and undo. It is a very, very sad story that a whole family had to be wiped out because one tout wanted to prove that he's a boss. It is really sad.
It's so sad. I'm wondering why humans are acting like animals, because this is the way animals will act. We're humans. Where is your compassion? You know, these Agberos as well, I think that we need to look into this. This is not the first time this is happening. In Lagos, this has happened as well. You know, I'm wondering why they continue, you know, to do stuff like this and they are not being put to book. You know, why would you lynch somebody in 2025? Like, why would you try to, you know, enter someone's car? Now you've killed a man, his wife, and his children. May their soul rest in peace. But I'll quickly touch on the Dangote truck.
It hasn't confirmed to be a Dangote truck, but that's speculation.
Okay, so I'll quickly speak on the truck. You know, because we hear that a lot, I'm really thinking it's Dangote. But,
yes.
You know, I feel like we really need to look into these drivers. And a lot of times I've said it on the table, you know, the drivers need to be looked at. They need to have their driver's license. They need to be checked properly before you put them on the road. Because, Olamide, driving a truck is very different from driving a car. You need to have some sort of technique, how to even, especially the ones that carry the container on them. If you don't know how to drive it, the container will fall down. We've seen it happen several times. So I just hope that these drivers are checked properly.
Mob justice or jungle justice is no way to go by. Even if the idiot Agbero, so to speak, you know, caused the death of these families who are going on their own way, and then he felt okay, they didn't do the right thing, and then the next thing was for him to handle the steering and then causing their death. The fact that they also killed him, you know, two wrongs don't actually make a right. So we should be very, very careful. Where are the security agents, the personnel who are deployed to the roads to ensure that there is peace and order, you know, on our roads, and our roads are safer for us to ply? It's a burden on the government to ensure that things are done right, because I really do not know how to approach this matter. But I say to the family I say to the bereaved, we offer our condolence, because this is so sad and it must stop.
Ibrahim, it's really sad that I'm trying to find the vocabulary to express myself in this. How can a man, his wife, and children be swept off in just a moment of time? It's really sad. And so please, Minister Wiki, you have another wahala on your hands. I know that, you know, he's talked about emptying shanties, because sometimes these people hide within those corners to do, you know, this kind of havoc we see. We cannot allow non-state actors in the disguise of boys on the road or to do this. We saw this thing happen in Lagos some time ago, that a lawyer was shot, you know, even though this time around this was involving a uniformed man. But this can't continue, please. This is really sad and wrong on all sides. Whilst we don't support taking justice into your hands, but I'm just imagining if I was there, what would I have done?
You wouldn't do that, Nelson.
I think we need to tackle drugs.
Don't test me.
You know, drug addiction is very, very key, because people take drugs and, you know, they behave like animals.
Ibrahim, you think that some of these people were on drugs?
They are always on drugs.
See, most of these drivers believe that if they are high, they drive better.
They're always
no,
on
not even.
Yes,
I'm not talking about the drivers.
There are systems that are rewarding
the
this
guys.
behavior. There are systems that are rewarding the long hours of work and the staying up late and the risk-taking. But I will say to you, in both of these stories, we are seeing that these unregulated economies, whether it's reckless truck drivers or Agberos, they are operating, and we need to find a middle ground to how they can be integrated into society, or at the very least stop harming people. But thank you so much for your input.
Thank you.
Moving on, in some, I can call this online gossip. The Rivers State Police Command is drawing a lot of debate and discourse online after warning women against the rising trend of collecting transport fare from men and failing to turn up for these meetings, calling it a criminal offense. Now, the police spokesperson for the Delta State Police Command, Grace Iringe Koko, said that this act amounts to obtaining money under a false pretense and a crime under Nigerian law that could lead to arrest and prosecution if a complaint is filed. This is what she had to say.
Why would you collect transport fare from a man without going to see him? It's an offense. A punishable offense is obtaining money under false pretense. 419. I am here to give you this piece of information because I am your #1 bestie. My name is SP Grace Iringekoko, the Police Public Relations Officer for the Rivers State Police Command.
Now, this warning comes just weeks after a Port Harcourt Magistrate Court fined a woman identified only as Jennifer 450,000 naira for collecting 30,000 naira transport fare from a man named Emmanuel and refusing to show up. This magistrate court found her guilty of financial deception and it's awarded the man damages far above that 30K, 450,000 naira. Ladies, you're hearing. Please take notes. If you're not going, don't go. But don't use it and buy shawarma. Let's take a look at social media. Sita says, a lady collected transport fare from me and didn't show up. Her papa na commissioner of police. How would I take to send her to prison? Abbas really says, with this, I can say that there's still some level of justice in this country. But moving on in some more good or interesting news, a South Sudanese visitor to Nigeria could not hide his joy after experiencing the Lagos Blue Line Rail, a project he described as wonderful and a big deal for an African country. His video has since gone viral. Now, the Blue Line is Nigeria's first electric-powered light rail, and it began commercial operations in September 2023, running from the marina to Mile 2, and it has plans to extend as far as Okuhomaiko. But for Lagos, it does represent more than transport. I think it's proof that African cities can deliver infrastructure that matches global world standards. And I think that what makes this clip even more powerful is not just the visitor's reaction, but how it reflects Nigeria through fresh eyes as a place capable of building, innovating, and surprising even our fellow Africans. Now, fun fact, I'm going to hand over to you, team, very quickly because I'm going to come back again. But fun fact, apparently after saying that the Blue Line Rail was amazing, later on, he went to Oshodi. He was still touring Lagos, and his phone was stolen. So it just makes you think about the duality of Nigeria. But if you're watching back home, today, Governor Sanwo-Olu has actually slashed the transport fare of the Lagos Blue Line Rail by 50% starting today. That's wonderful news, if you ask me.
I wish they have a Blue Line rail from Victoria Island to where I live. That would be nice. But the collect no show is what they call this thing where the girl collects the money and doesn't show up. Look, now it's a criminal offense. The young men are really happy. They are really happy.
But first off, I'll say a big congratulations and thank you to Governor Sanwo-Olu for that. You know, transport has always been very difficult. And, you know, Olamide, whenever I pass that place, it looks like London to me. I think I need to do a photo shoot there. It's so beautiful. So yes, this is what we like to see, a better Lagos, a better Nigeria. But Olamide, let's talk about this woman. Is she aware that some of these men don't mean us well? So there are different reasons why you may not wait. Mr. Itoma, just relax first. I'm the lady on the table. Let me explain this very well. It's not like we don't want to go. Maybe we've seen your intentions are not the very best. But if we don't go, you can try again to send another one to see maybe we'll eventually come. Exactly. But at the end of the day, I don't think you should, you know, try to deceive anybody. But if the money has gone, just let it go. She's like your sister at the end of the day. Okay. It's not a problem.
Yeah, but you've forgotten that the man actually worked for his money, and then you guys you were actually in business. Sorry, hold on. You were actually in business, because when you have a conversation, are you going to come? Are we having a meeting? Are we meeting somewhere? And then you agreed to it, and then you are breaching that agreement. Then that's theft.
It's not
so
a
there is
business.
there is no way to justify it. If you know that you're not going to honor an invitation or honor anything, you do not collect a proceed.
As a man, why are you
but you can just let it go.
So it's also a wake-up call.
Transport fare, you should come to your home and do something.
Yes, justify it out what you want, but it's also a wake-up call to the men, that you do not throw your monies around. You have your families, you have your younger sisters that you
can be your sister as well. The person can be your sister. God loves a cheerful giver.
When it turns the other way around, you guys will not start crying.
Well,
it's a good way. It's a way to
for me, look, it's just fun. But If you engage in a conversation with anybody and you all have an agreement, please honor it. Exactly. Now, for me, I'm looking at it on a wider range, whether it's about man, woman, or maybe business. For instance, I'm paid to do a job somewhere. I should honor it and do it. If I don't, return the money. Simple. You know?
I'm not eating the shawarma.
No. Well, if you need to vomit it back and send the money back to the people. So, you know, it's just fun, really.
Yes.
Left to me, that money is for living my life. I don't know about coming to see you.
Okay.
The kind of sense of entitlement that ladies have.
Ladies have.
Hey, Chef,
No, it's not about entitlement. God has it in the Bible.